Nic, what I would like to talk about is quite a hot topic at the moment, transgender relationships. We're seeing more and more transgender relationships. We're seeing transgender couples come to the clinic.
And depending on where they are, being pre-op, post-op or non-op is also going to make a difference to, I guess, dating or actually even being in a relationship.
I want to explore the dynamics of what sort of challenges they come up against in their relationship, because they obviously, there's some joys and there's some negative things going on as well.
And transgender women can often be more feminine than, say, a cisgender woman, and that can be very attractive to a man. Have had to undergo a lot of pretty major life challenges. They've had to show a lot of courage and self-awareness and growth to, I guess, stand up for themselves and to go for what they want. That has made them quite a strong character, and people can be drawn to somebody who's gone through that.
This is Between the Sheets by MHC, a podcast about sex, intimacy and relationships. Hello, James here from the Men's Health Clinic, and today I'm joined by Nic Brewer, who's our in-house sex and intimacy therapist. And today we're going to be talking about the transgender community and some of the challenges they face, breaking down some of those myths. I hope you enjoy it. Okay, so episode 7. Nic, what I would like to talk about is quite a hot topic at the moment, transgender relationships. We're seeing more and more transgender relationships. We're seeing transgender couples come to the clinic, and I think, I want to explore the dynamics of what sort of challenges they come up against in their relationship, because they obviously, there's some joys and there's some negative things going on as well. So really, what are some of the reasons, would you say, why men, because hetero men can be quite interested in she-males, ladyboys, transgender, and does it make them gay? Does it not make them gay? Well, I want to explore all that. But what are some of the reasons that men engage in transgender relationships, do you think, Nikki?
Sure. I mean, what you've just described there, that's just a small portion of transgender portrayal. What you see in porn is not necessarily mostly what's going on. Whether you're transgender, heterosexual, homosexual, we do have the same reasons why we may want to date someone, okay? So those include...
That's attraction.
Exactly. So we have genuine attraction, maybe, and transgender women can often be more feminine than, say,
often they are,
gender woman, because they have had to live as a man for so long and suppress that femininity. When they do start to transition or come out, they're the ones who really love to do their hair, their nails, and and that can be very attractive to a man. So it's just the general attraction overall. As I said, just human qualities, just having common interests, love, the fact that you have a shared or complementary life experiences you may have met in a certain situation. So all of the reasons what a heterosexual couple would be attracted to, there is no difference there with the transgender. However, there are some unique qualities, such as they may be attracted a lot more to their resilience and life experience. People who have been stigmatized or discriminated against, have had to undergo a lot of pretty major life challenges. They've had to show a lot of courage and self-awareness and growth to, I guess, stand up for themselves and to go for what they want. That has made them quite a strong character, and people can be drawn to somebody who's gone through that level of life experience.
Yeah. So if a hetero guy is looking at transgender women, does that make him gay?
Not necessarily. It can. One of the reasons men date transgender could be to explore their own sexuality and their preferences. It can just be a
Without
curiosity.
sort of sleeping with a man, they're exploring, but in a sort of
Yeah.
I see.
Just like you may want to sleep with a certain culture or race.
Yeah, true.
If you'd never
Different
been,
experience.
Yeah, it's exactly that. And I think that so much more has opened up. It's not seen as being homosexual. It's an extension of just being a man and exploring. There's not as much stigma around it anymore.
Mm-hmm.
That's not to say that there is also the reason of fetishize.
Yeah, this is we
word?
keep this word keeps getting us. It
Can you
is.
say that for me?
It is fetishizing.
Fetishizing, or having this misguided curiosity born out of the stereotypical things we see in porn. So these men are commonly known as chasers.
Chasers, okay.
Yeah, so it's a term to basically play out these fantasies that they're watching.
Are these guys
porn.
in relationships? Are they single?
No idea.
Or?
No
Okay.
idea. They could be both either.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah. That I haven't done the research on, but I'm sure both are present and exist.
Human,
of
aren't they?
course.
Yeah.
So, of course, then we're starting to objectify this person. It's no longer seen as an individual with their own, needs. It's all about this toy for this other person, or, basically getting off on some sort of fantasy. So, yeah, I kind of see that as probably some straight men want to explore, but for the most part, it's done for genuine reasons, that they are no different to any other human
A different
being.
experience. Yeah, completely get it.
And depending on where they are, being pre-op, post-op, or non-op, is also going to make a difference to, I guess, dating or actually even being in a relationship.
Yeah.
Because if a woman has fully transitioned, then you're looking at just another female body per se, versus someone maybe who is pre-op and still has a penis. Is going to be a very different experience to being with someone who has had full gender reassignment surgery.
Yes. Yeah, that makes sense.
We've got a lot of different categories there the way we can move to.
What is body dysphoria, and how does it affect intimacy in a trans relationship, Nikki?
Well, basically it's being comfortable, or in this case, not comfortable in their body. Maybe they're halfway through taking hormone replacement therapy. Maybe they still have a lot of shame around having certain body parts. If a woman is fully transitioning, she may have a lot of shame around even having a penis, or hating having a penis, hence why she wants to have a full surgery. So there's still a lot of not liking her body, her body image.
Absolutely. Yeah. And conversely, there's also we have transgender patients that are not planning to have the operation, so they're females, but they want to use their penises. So I suppose they would be on hormones, which would affect the erection functionality. And that could be a reason as well. So as you say, it really is a broad spectrum, isn't it?
Yeah, it depends on in what stage, if and when they are planning to have any surgeries.
Why is there such a lack of research, do you think, around this topic?
I think it's only really just starting to get a lot more acceptance. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens now that Trump has made his claim that he was going to pull funding for schools and medical centres that are supporting any of this, and also obviously in sports, in the sports arena. So I think it's going to set things back quite a bit. From what I've read already, the anxiety and mental health of not just transgender but the whole LGBTQ community on the hotlines, dealing with their anxiety of how they are going to actually now handle this without that support. You know, there has been so much discrimination now.
Yeah.
It feels like we're going to take quite a few steps back. So it'll be interesting to see now where we go with this.
Yeah, I mean, I think I think people are absolutely free to do what be whatever gender they want. But I do think that letting children do that, because I mean, I remember being 9, 10. I was rude, and kids play doctors and nurses. You don't really know about yourself at that age, and so I think when people go for operations and start that transition at 12, 13, for young age, I think is dangerous. But I'm sure there's a lot of mixed opinion on that.
Absolutely, it's a very delicate subject,
It is.
And from what I read and research and watch, these people feel they are born.
Yes.
They really are born the wrong gender. They have never felt comfortable in their body. Throughout the ages, throughout every culture, hundreds, thousands of years back, that interestingly there have always been transgender people in societies. Even in island cultures now, it's not seen as something strange or so
celebrated.
so
in
different.
parts of Asia.
They're actually seen.
There's a
as,
Miss World for transgender women, and so it's amazing.
Yeah, they're seen as very special beings, and a very fluid mix of both genders. Whereas our culture is very, very limited in its perspectives and views, and
which is quite nice with living in Amsterdam, because the views are quite broad here, aren't they?
Yes, they are.
And so how can couples in a transgender relationship improve communication about, say, sexual dysfunction? We look at the ones that come through that have a problem, want to keep their penises. How can they work on that?
Yeah. Again, just like any other relationship, you've got to be able to communicate. We also, just getting back to the dysphoria, you've also got a lot of maybe post-surgery or even using hormones. There could be a lot of discomfort with sex, or just anxiety around even communicating the right terminology to your partner about their bodies. They may use the wrong word and cause a trigger in their partner, which will bring on the dysphoria. So it's about really, again, having that open relationship where you can research and understand your partner if you're the non-trans person. So really understanding their needs and maybe their changing needs if they're going to be changing at any point. But again, being able to have these loving conversations. I don't think anybody ever wants to hurt anybody on purpose or say the wrong things, but conversely, if you're not the one going through that, I must be very hard to understand sometimes, and to get it right and to say the right thing. So you've just got to stay on the same page.
So it's very similar to any other relationship.
Exactly. And that's what I mean. We don't want to, it's not something that's so
taboo
or strange or different. Everybody is human beings with the same feelings and want the same things and respect and to be loved and understood. And so,
yeah, exactly. No, I get that. And
they are going to have shame. They're going to be self-conscious. Maybe they don't want certain parts of their body touched or looked at because they don't want them there or they're not comfortable. That in itself is going to set up that anxiety around even wanting to have sex with their partner. So they need, so they need to obviously be comfortable in their own body and accept themselves, and in turn have their partner accept them. So that's a big one. And
so what sort of communication barriers would you say that the transgender society experience?
Well, I guess it's really being able to express their needs to their partners. And as I said, if the partner is new to a trans relationship or may have a certain expectation, maybe they say the wrong thing or they expect the wrong thing from this type of body, and that can trigger a shutdown or, again, the shame cycle of the dysphoria. So
because there's a lot of social stigma, isn't there?
There is. So even just things like public displays of affection, you know, being judged. The trans person may fear they're going to be judged or rejected by their partner or by society, or worry that their partner may be judged. So there's a lot of anxiety around just what will people say? What will people do? Will we be accepted if they're not at that place yet? So, you know, they do face that challenge. And again, depending on where in the journey of being transgender they are. You know.
So it's a journey of discovery, really. And I suppose every journey is different to the next, isn't it?
Yeah. I was watching a YouTube couple yesterday just to, have a look at how some couples are managing it. And it was interesting. They'd been married for I think 20 years. They were a Mormon couple, heterosexual, 3 children, and the husband came out after, I think, 15 years of marriage.
Stayed in the marriage.
The wife stayed in the marriage and he transitioned to a woman.
And they stayed together?
They've stayed together.
Wow.
He now identifies as a lesbian.
Right.
Has had the full surgeries, and still their relationship is better than ever because she sees him first and foremost as
him.
Her,
but
the
person.
You know, that she said she's my person. You know, so no matter what all this is doing, doesn't negate the love and the 15 years of raising 3 beautiful children.
Definitely.
And she's had to challenge her own sexuality. She's had to massive changes. A very interesting journey they've been on. And just 3 days ago, she's having her last surgery of her voice. Not sure exactly what they call it, like voice reassignment or voice something. Yeah. That was the last thing because she looks completely like a woman now, except the voice. And that's been they have their YouTube channel and they document everything, and it's a fascinating journey. And
I should think that'd be quite inspirational for somebody going through this to watch that.
Yeah.
It'd be good to put that link perhaps on one of these podcasts for our audience.
Yeah.
And
just how they're navigating a new sexual relationship. What that now looks like. And that's what most people wonder. But again, just because you're trans, there are just as many variations within a heterosexual relationship. You know, maybe some guys want to be pegged, other women want anal. You know, maybe in a lesbian relationship there's no penetration at all. Why do we think that there's this weird sexual dynamic must have to happen over here? Heterosexual couples do all sorts of things and know things, yet no one says, so what do you do in your sex life?
True.
Yet it becomes this big, I wonder how they have sex now. Like they're still just 2 people with their own preferences.
Yeah. So there's a lot social stigma, but there's a lot of people don't understand,
Myths.
do they? Myths,
There's
that's
a lot
right.
of myths.
Yeah.
If they go into hormone replacement treatment, usually libido is one of the first things that will deteriorate. So already that's going to cause sexual performance issues in their relationship, right? They're just not going to even feel like having sex. There's going to be like perhaps dryness or discomfort. If they have had surgery, all the post-surgery healing, all of this is going to add to the sexual dysfunction.
Yeah, and there could be pain and all kinds of things.
Yep,
Could take
exactly.
a couple of years or so, couldn't it, for them to
Yep.
feel comfortable?
There's also the challenges of this unrealistic expectations around what living up to this expectation of what my partner thinks being with a transgender person means. So again, do they have an expectation after watching porn that this is what they're going to get? Will they be satisfied? This again can create the anxiety around even wanting to have sex because they think they have to live up to this fantasy image. And then, of course, there is just performance anxiety in general. Will they be judged by their body? Will they be rejected? Physical and sexual capabilities.
The transgender community that contact our team, often I get feedback from the team that they're struggling with mental health, and completely understandably with what some of them are going through. And so, what some of the challenges that they face? Do you have much input in that? What are your thoughts on that, Nikki?
Yeah, I did a bit of research. I mean, I don't think this is a journey that anybody takes on lightly. For everything that I've read or the people that I've seen interviewed, this is not something they just wake up one day and decide to do. So it's a lifelong challenge to work with the stigmas and internal as well as the external. But I was surprised. I guess surprised, but not surprised, considering what discrimination that may face them on their journey. But I have these statistics here that 70% of non-binary people had experienced depression.
That high?
Yeah, 71 of trans, including 79% of non-binary people had experienced anxiety. 19% of trans people, including 24% non-binary, had experienced an eating disorder. We have 46% of trans, including 50% of non-binary, have considered suicide, taking their own life. And 35% of trans, including 41 of non-binary people, have self-harmed. So
high
those
stats
statistics are way up there.
Goodness me.
Yeah.
So they really do face some serious challenges, don't they?
Yeah.
And it's I'm so pleased that we're able to help them and assist and what have you, because it's definitely becoming more prevalent.
Yes, for sure.
And but from what you're saying, it's no different to any other normal relationship.
No.
No,
it shouldn't be seen as that. And unfortunately, it still does exist, but no, we're all human beings and we all face the same challenges in and out of the bedroom.
Life rolls the same, doesn't
exactly.
it? Yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
We probably would have been having this conversation, 3 decades ago about hetero versus homosexuality. They were kind of your only two options, and maybe some bisexuals in the middle, and we had a few little categories, and now, it's just everything is possible. And I think people are still needing that education to understand everybody.
Yeah.
It's that simple. It's just a lack of education.
Yeah, I completely agree with that. So what are some of the myths and stereotypes of straight men dating trans women?
One of the first ones is that straight men who date trans women are not truly straight. So this is obviously not true. Sure, men can feel
So a straight
curious.
man can sleep with a trans woman and still be straight?
Yeah.
Okay.
They're attracted. They could be attracted to multiple qualities within them. It doesn't inherently make them gay to want to.
Because a gay man wanting to explore, his sexuality would probably be focused on a male-looking man, right?
Correct. Because they are usually attracted to women, hence why they are attracted
Yes,
to
okay,
transgender
right.
because they look like women.
Yeah.
As you say, I guess if you
But there's a penis downstairs sometimes.
Maybe.
Maybe not.
maybe, and again, this is depending on if you're just looking for sex, if you actually want to date or a relationship, and this is where all the factors come in. But inherently, if you knew it was just to have a one-night hookup and you knew they still had a penis, does it make you gay? No, still not, because I think they are still inherently attracted to the feminine part
Yeah.
of it.
Yeah. No, that makes sense. And that's a question I'm sure a lot of viewers will want to know as well.
Yeah.
In fact, I think Married at First Sight, my wife watches, and I think there's a post-op transgender woman in there dating a straight man. Yeah, so that makes sense.
Yeah. And sometimes they can be more feminine than
Yes.
some cisgender women. So yeah, you just, again, everything is an individual thing. We can't make these broad statements. Hence why they're myths. People buy into these
Yeah.
myths, and this is where they take on a life of their own. I mean, another myth is that men only date trans women for fetishes. Now, if you're watching a lot of porn and that's the only type of transgender person that you're seeing in that, which is very objectified, and it's actually a fantasy role play. You'll see the straight couple in the porn who want the husband to have his first gay experience, but we don't. And then also the woman can join in and have a bit of fun. So it's sort of fun for everyone. It becomes this novelty of objectifying the person for their sexual parts instead of treating them like a person. But porn does that across every genre,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Whether it's racism or, so yeah.
I suppose it's individual to the relationship as well, because you
Yeah.
mentioned pegging earlier. So, then I think perhaps that is maybe a crossover of where a man is perhaps interested in a man and a woman. It might be bisexual if that happens.
They could be fully straight and just enjoy their wife putting something
Prostate massage.
into their anus. Does not make them gay. Your butthole is no different apart than any other place to receive pleasure. It's not primarily a man's domain making you gay. Hence, you can have sex with your wife anally. What does that make her?
True.
Exactly.
It's exactly
But
the
if a
same.
man enjoys pleasure there, he's automatically assumed that he may like that. No, why can't?
Another myth.
Another myth. Whereas the wife is the one giving the pleasure here. It's about the pleasure, not the person.
Yeah. Yeah. That's so interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And again, it's not to say that's then doesn't turn you gay either. If you enjoy that, you can still just enjoy it in a heterosexual relationship. I know a lot of heterosexual men who enjoy that, and there's no gay tendencies there. So we just have to be very careful to separate what we see in porn
Yes.
and the fetishes
Yeah.
compared to treating everybody as human beings and individuals. Another a myth is that, again, it's the same, really they're all the same myths around this topic, that men who date trans women are attracted to men because, again, we're going back to gender identity. Most of these women are identifying as women, so they're not don't see themselves as men, and they don't even at times even want their penis touched or brought into the equation. So again, it's quite different to what you may see in porn.
Case by case, really.
Yeah.
And that's a wrap for today's episode of Between the Sheets. Thanks for joining us. If you're enjoying this podcast, give it a like and subscribe so we can keep creating content you'll love. Check out the description below for links to our Facebook and Instagram pages to get more updates about Men's Health Clinic. And if you're experiencing any bedroom health issues, please feel free to book an appointment with us through the booking links provided. If you have questions or want to start your treatment for sexual dysfunctions, reach out to Men's Health Clinic. We offer free online consultation and provide custom treatments. Take care, everyone, and keep the conversation going between the sheets.